Hey, what's going on, YouTube family? It's your boy Mike, the businessman. Pardon me, man. I'm on vacation. Everybody's asleep, but I made a promise, y'all. I said I was gonna put out some more content, so I figured I'm gonna still drop this video. Tied different time zone, but I said I made a commitment, and so hey, here's to keeping with that commitment, right? So y'all, pardon me, my robe and all of that, but I'm a little tired. But yeah, it's been a good, cool vacation though. Yeah, out here in Cabo, it's been really nice property, real nice digs. You know what I'm saying? Got the villa, really cool spot. I got a nice private pool outside, so dope. But hey guys, listen, I wanted to talk about something, right? Like literally the economy car play. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I talk about it a lot, especially about choosing a strategy, right? Tell people to choose a strategy. And one of those strategies, and I mention a lot though, because people sleep on it all the time. I know I do exotics and I do luxury cars. I also got the economy joints. You know what I'm saying? So I also practice what I preach. So, and I recently started actually. So I'm not going to sit here and say I've always had them. Nah, I need to go get that bag first, and then I circle back. But you know what I'm saying? It's a good practice to start from the scratch. So I'll say you guys need to all, especially if you're starting out, it's the easiest way to get into the car rental business. So let me break it down, the economy car play. And like I said, y'all, I'm tired, so I took down some notes. Normally I'm one take Mike, but this time I took some notes just to make sure I stay on point here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, basically with the economy car play, right? So the play here is to build up a book of business, so to speak, passively. So you could get several economy cars, and they tend to make a fixed amount of money. It's almost predictable, right? And clearly, not everything. I mean, everything in business is not predictable, but to a certain extent, with these cars, you can sort of predict. If you run the play well and run the play like I'm gonna give it to you guys, you could predict a certain amount of money every month. Okay. And so I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through that, right? So, and give you guys some of the advantages of doing the economy car play versus also going luxury and all of that, right? And I'm gonna also keep it real with you guys, give you disadvantages to it, and I'm gonna tell you guys how to actually run the play. You know what I'm saying? So you guys can start making that bread. So pretty much, like, one advantage I like about it, number one, is it's B2B, right? You can make it B2B. What do I mean by B2B? So business to business, all right? So to speak, right? You guys could actually go get these cars. You go get these economy cars, and then you can rent them out to gig economy workers. I talk about that all the time. So you're renting them out to Uber drivers, you're renting them out to Lyft drivers, DoorDash drivers, Grubhub drivers, all of that, right? So essentially, you a business now, you're renting to another business owner. That's B2B. You're not renting to families or whatever. Okay, so that's a play. You could make it B2B, and that's a good way to get started. And the advantage of that is it's more consistent, right? These guys are using your car to earn money, and so they're incentivized to keep paying every week versus somebody just joyriding on it, using it for personal reasons, all right? So it's more consistent income, right? The second good advantage of it is it becomes long-term, right? These guys, especially if you target gig economy workers, right? These guys will keep the car long-term. You could also find people that just needed to get to work. Maybe they have a job, they have qualified employment, right? So they could keep the car and just run the play, so that's another good way. So that's a good thing about it, another advantage. These guys, hey, you offer them a car, say it's $250, $300, $400 a week. They might be making a few thousand a month or whatever. So at least it makes sense. They need the car to get to work. So it becomes, the ROI is there for them. So it makes financial sense to rent your car. And you might be wondering, why would somebody pay me $300 to rent a car when they could go get it? There's people out there might be making some good money, but they don't have a credit. They can't qualify. Maybe they're getting buy here, pay here. Maybe they're only in town for several months. You never know. But guess what? There's lots of people out there. I got a wait list right now of people wanting to rent my economy cars. So trust me, doesn't matter how your brain thinks. Okay, I get that all the time. Why would somebody pay you $2,000 a day to rent a Lambo? People do it. Guess what? Just because your cheap ass won't do it, other people do it. All right. So there is this big market out there for it. Just run the play. All right. Another advantage of the economy joints is that you're dealing with fewer renters. Okay, because now you're giving out your cars into these people, and they tend to stay with them longer. Okay, they tend to keep it, so it's less turnover, right? You're not dealing with so many different people, right? You just give the car out to one person, let them rent the car for as long as possible. They might keep it several weeks, they might keep it several months, might keep it a year. You know what I'm saying? So you're not having to constantly turn over cars, clean them up, and all of that stuff, and deal with different problems with different renters. So that's a big advantage of the play. All right. Another advantage of it is it's consistent income. All right, it becomes predictable. You got somebody on the books, one car's gone, boom. He's paying you every week, he's paying you every month. You're straight. It's consistent income. I can predict my profit at the end of the month. I know, okay, at the end of this month, I'm gonna make $1,200 off of this one car. If I got 10 of those, I'm making how much that is. Do the math. It's too late over here. I ain't gonna do that. But here you go. If it's 10 bands, whatever it is, $11,000, $12,000, that's how much I'm gonna make, guaranteed, because I have these cars out there, minus your minor expenses, right? So it's consistent income. Another advantage of the play is your car is paid off in no time. All right, and I like this one a lot, because if you buy these cars right, like You buy these cash cars. Like for me personally, I just buy them cash. I take the profits from my exotic car rental company. I just throw it into a car every now and then. Just buy another economy car. Okay, so I pay cash. Most of my cars cost me about $5,000-$6,000. Boom, I buy them, I run them. So if you're good with cars, you might even get them way cheaper. Find good deals, cars that maybe have issues, and you guys could just go fix them up if you're mechanically inclined, and run them on the road. And that way, within a few months, because you're getting them so cheap, within a few months, these cars are paid off. So that's the beauty of it, right? So you guys could run that. Imagine you buy a car for 4,000 or 5,000, you're getting 1,200 a month. In 3-4 months, car's paid off. Everything from that point is profit. I need you guys to be thinking with me here now. So imagine, now, how do you scale that? Now you go buy more. You run the play again. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if you had 10, 15, 20 of those bringing you 1,200 a month. That's 20-something bands every month. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how hard it is to earn 20-something thousand a month. That's not easy. So these cars could be doing that for you. All right, so that's another advantage of it. It's consistent income. Car gets paid off in months, in a few months. Another thing is it's a bigger pool of potential renters. All right, because you're renting out to gig economy workers, right? So many of them out there. Doing there's so many different platforms, right? So you could actually reach all of them. You could have Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub. There's 1,000 of them out there that will want your car. Okay, so you have a big pool of renters to choose from. I have a wait list of people waiting on me to rent my cars right now. Okay, and I'm gonna teach you guys how to do that. I'm gonna show you the play I run, so y'all could run the play. You know what I'm saying? And this is only for people that are serious, not curious. I need action takers. I want people to actually go out there, impact. I can take this information, run the play, and create impact. That's what I want. I want people that are serious. Okay, take the play and run the play. All right. So another potential pool of people to rent these cars also is body shops. You know what I'm saying? It's body shops out there. You go network these body shops, the smaller ones. And if you have a big fleet of economy cars, you could actually negotiate rates with them. Okay, offer them a fixed rate, and maybe you build insurance directly, and you guys could actually make a lot of paper off of that. So you actually just have to get out of your comfort zone. Go talk. Go speak to these people. Go dress up sharp. Don't walk up in there in your baggy jeans or whatever. Dress up, look sharp. Pull up in one of your nice cars and go talk to these guys. Okay, you'd be surprised. How they would give you the contract on the spot. So you guys need to be bold and actually go get it. Closed mouths don't get fed. I tell my kids that all the time. Okay, so actually go out there and speak. Another thing is too, another advantage is it's easily scalable. All right, because it's economy cars, it's cash cars. It's not like you're buying a bunch of Lambos. That's hard to do. After a while, they cap you off. Economy cars, you can just keep buying them. You buy as many as you can afford to pay cash, and plus you can use creative financing and find other ways to get these cars. So that's another reason why I like them. Okay. Finally, a final advantage for me, I think personally, is less anxiety. Okay, just because what's the worst that could happen if, say, the car gets stolen? You're out 3, 4, 5,000. Okay, or maybe if you pay, or if it gets, someone scuffs up the paint or a dent in the car, I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. You know what I'm saying? My guy next door, I'll have him just fix the car for a couple $100. Is back on the road making me money. All right, somebody spills something on the seats, I'm not tripping off any of that. Okay, so that's the good part about economy cars. It's less anxiety versus my Lambos or any of those expensive cars. The second you see a scratch, that could be a $10,000 repair. So that'll give you some high blood pressure. Or the renter hasn't brought the car back and it's 2 hours overdue. You're freaking out. Have they stolen my car? My $200 and something thousand car. So it's way less anxiety with the economy cars. So that's another good thing. Now let's talk about some disadvantages though, right? So to make this scalable, right? So to make good money off of me, unless you just want to make $1,000 or $2,000, that's fine. You just buy 2 of them. But if you want to make some serious cash, you want to make 6 figures, you're going to need more. Okay, so you have to scale. All right, so you have to buy a lot of cars. So now you're dealing with 20 cars. A lot of cars out there. What the hell is this thing doing? Yeah, so now you're dealing with a bunch of cars. And that could be a problem, right? So that's an issue with it. Obviously, larger surface area equals more possibilities for something to go wrong, right? So that would be my only other issue with it. So what the heck's wrong with this thing, guys? Yeah, my bad, guys. Forgive my Doji stick, but yeah. So that's another problem with it, right? So it's got potential for a larger potential for error. Because you're dealing with a lot of cars, right? So something definitely go wrong if you have that many, just to make it scalable, right? And then another thing too is you're going to be dealing with lower quality renters, right? Because obviously at that price point, you're not going to get the caliber of people that maybe would rent, premium, high luxury or exotic cars that, they're used to driving those cars, they're used to taking care of the cars. So obviously, you're going to be dealing with some people that, typically people with bad credit, That's why they're renting it from you anyway in the first place. So you're not going to be dealing with the same caliber renters, right? So that's another thing, right? Just be prepared for that. You might get a lot of crackish excuses where they can't make a payment or something, or stuff like that. More prone to spilling stuff in your car, so you can't be emotionally attached to these cars either. All right. And like I said earlier, to make this scalable so you can make a lot of money, you need a lot of cars. So that's another major disadvantage for it, for the model, right? But otherwise, I still think it's a great opportunity, guys. And I think you guys should jump right into it if you've been thinking about it. I'm going to talk about how to run the play now. Okay, so you guys want to go ahead, you want to tap in, you want to get going, right? How do you do it? All right, so let's talk about that. If I can get this stupid stick to cooperate once again, let's kind of talk about how you run the play. All right, so I'd say first off, just go research some reliable cars, right? Don't start DMing me asking me what cars to get. I'm not going to tell you, okay? I don't like it when people ask me that. Go do some research yourself, all right? Go find out reliable cars, reliable cash cars that you guys can get. Make sure they're fuel efficient, because especially if you're targeting like your Uber drivers and all of that, obviously you don't want to go get an 8-cylinder car and hand it over to a gig economy worker, right? They can't do nothing with that. So you want typically fuel efficient cars. Another thing that people overlook too is you got to research how much does it cost to repair these cars, right? If it's not too expensive to fix, you want cars that are notoriously expensive to fix, or they got to freaking go overseas to get the parts on the car, or it just costs so much just to replace the slightest damage, and you don't want those type of cars, right? So you guys want to avoid those ones. That's an sort of just make sure you do some proper research. Make sure there's no recalls on the car, right? Make sure it's a clean title, so that way you can get your car insured. You want to, like I said earlier, a car that has cheaper maintenance costs. Stay away from those. A lot of people swear against Nissans. They claim, it's hard to expensive to fix. So that's, take it for what it's worth. So that's just an example I'm giving you right there. So yeah, just do that. To buy the cars, how do you do that? All right, so I'll give you a few tips. Personally, I pay cash. So I pay cash for these cars, so that way I get a better deal, and call it a day. You can pay cash. If you have a business credit cards, no interest business credit cards, tap into those. Or lines of credit, leverage that. If you can go get a line of credit or a loan from a bank for say 50,000, and you run it up, go buy 10 economy cars with that. All right, that right there at least is guaranteed to make you 10 bands a month. In 5 months, you paid off that loan, you own all those cars free and clear, right? So I want you guys to imagine the possibilities with the play. Okay, so that's another advantage here. Let's see here, what else I put in my notes. You can also get financing from a credit union, right? So that's another way. Just go to a bank, go get a financing for the cars. Now, obviously, some people don't want to buy the cheaper cars. I like cars between 2013, 2015, but you could also go newer. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure your payments aren't too high. And that's the only thing for me. It's all about getting these things and having as little liability as possible. I'm already leveraged these exotics and all of that. I don't need to be taking on debt for economy cars, right? But that's perfectly okay. You can get some cars, $15,000 to $20,000 range. You can finance them. Your payments will be pretty cheap, and that way you just try to pay them off as soon as possible. However, the only thing is, you won't have as much equity. That's the only problem with that play, right? So, you just have to take your time, pay it off, or as long as you're able to pay the note, then you're fine. Anything over that is profit for you, right? So that's a good strategy you guys could use. And then finally, you could leverage family and friends. If you don't have access to credit, maybe you're just getting into this game, leverage family and friends. If they have economy cars, you could profit split with them, run their cars, make money with their cars, and then you guys sign a joint venture agreement and split profits, right? Now, before you guys run the play, though, before you put these cars on the road, you need to protect and insure your investments, right? I'm big on that risk mitigation. Don't get it twisted. Now, I know I got the baseball hat and I'm wearing a robe and all of that, and I'm messing up with this doji camera, but hey, we got to be about our business. We got to make sure that we protect our investments. So first things first, go get your GPS kill switches in there. Get your GPS that has a kill switch, so if a renter dips out in your car, they don't make a payment, you can kill switch that. You want to set a geofence around your local area, because you don't want these guys driving your car, taking them out of state. You don't want those problems, okay? It's not worth it. The amount of money you're making a month is not worth driving out 2 states over to go get your car back, okay? It's not worth it. So you want to get a tracker, geofence the car, tell them they can't leave a certain vicinity. If they do, you're kill switching it automatically. The tracker will let you know, kill it, and go grab your car, move on to the next runner, okay? So once you do that too, another thing you need to do is you have to have insurance, right? So a few plays around that. You could either put them on these platforms like Turo, hire car, get around. They will provide you insurance. That way the car is covered if anything happens. However, since we don't want to be doing daily rentals on these cars, in the description, you need to specifically say it's a weekly rental or a monthly rental. Or you can set it, in the settings, you're able to dictate that, right? Some of these platforms. So you could leverage those platforms. The only thing is you're going to be splitting a lot of your bread with them, right? As you guys know. But if you're doing this privately, you don't, another option if you're doing it privately is to have them get their own insurance. Make sure they insure the car. They have insurance already, or they could get a policy if they're keeping it for a long term. They could get a policy with that car. That's acceptable. Or there's actually another play I'm very excited about, and it's a commercial insurance policy that you guys could get. I'm actually about to drop that video, so you guys look out for that coming out in a few days, and you could actually leverage that commercial insurance policy and pass on the cost of it to your renters. Okay, you could either charge them per day, or you could charge them per week for the insurance, right? So that's another play, right? And these guys, this company, they love rentals. They love if you guys are doing private rentals, and they will insure your economy cars up to a certain value, $75,000. So I'm going to give you guys a sauce on that on the next video, right? Okay, so you put the kill switch. You've made sure you either have it listed on a platform like Turo, Hire Car, Get Around. That way you're protected, or you're going to get the commercial insurance. I'm going to drop in the next video soon here. And then that's all you guys need to do. Or you can also make sure the renter provides insurance. They can go get a quick policy with progressive.com or whatever cheap insurance companies out there. These are economy cars anyway, so they don't need to get anything extravagant, right? So now, how do you find renters? Okay, you might be asking, all right, Mike, I've done all of this stuff. How do I get people to rent this car? Simple. A few ways. Number one, like I said, if you're using these apps already, they provide you with renters, right? So that's going to keep some business coming in. Another play for you guys is, and a big one that I use a lot, is Facebook Marketplace, guys. You can list your car for rent on Facebook Marketplace. Just stipulate, there's no daily, just weekly rentals. Must be 21 plus, have a valid driver's license, and put your price in there, okay? And trust me, your phone will be blowing up with people wanting that vehicle, okay? Now, don't forget, if once they start to roll in, you have to pre-qualify them, right? So, if they meet your age requirements, if you want gig economy workers specifically, you need to ask them if they're on Uber. They should send you evidence that they're on Uber, send you the identification to make sure that they're actually on one of those platforms, and that way you're safe to rent to them. Or you could also just rent it out to people privately, right? So they send you your driver's license, all of that. If you guys are members of my program, you already know how to vet people properly, so that way you can hand over the keys and sleep well at night. So I'm not going to cover all of that here. But yeah, so you can place it on Facebook Marketplace. Another way to get renters is also Craigslist. You could leverage Craigslist, put it on there. You're going to get renters too, hitting you up. So those are three ways that you guys could instantly start getting renters for these cars without having to spend a dime. Okay. Finally, pricing. Right? Let's talk about pricing, right? So here's your major competitor, Avis, right? So Avis kind of partnered with a lot of these Uber, these platforms, and Avis gives them a 2020 Camry, right, and charges them about $290, and then an extra $50 or so for insurance. So they're paying about $340, $350 per week for like a 2020 Camry, right? However, I know they cap the miles. Okay, they give them a certain amount of miles per day. I think it's 300. That's number one. With us, we're giving unlimited miles. We don't care. But with these cars, so these drivers pretty much, especially the gig economy workers, they can only drive the car for Uber, and that's it. They can't even go out on a date later on at night or whatever, or use a car for their personal stuff, because they're capped with their miles. So that's a big selling point for us, right? So that's how we can come in there and fill that void. So you could price your car around that range, anywhere from about the 290, or you go higher up to 400, 450. Okay, so that's all up to you. Trust me, these guys will pay. All right, so you just need to find the right one. So that's a range that you guys could use to price these cars. I would like, for me, the bare minimum I want to make is $1,200 for each car a month. So I peg mine between $300 and $350. So you guys could play around the numbers depending on where you're at, right? And that's really it. That's how you guys run the play. I hope I covered everything. Like I said, my apologies. I wasn't meaning to shoot this video tonight, but I just figured I'd come in, drop some value. Let me know your thoughts, guys. If you guys are already running the play, let me know if I missed anything. If this was good value for you guys, put it in the chat, y'all. I want some engagement. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your thoughts, y'all. Let me know. Would you guys run the economy play? If so, what are your plans? How you guys going to do it? Drop it all in the comments. If you have any questions, put it in there. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Once again, my apologies for the way I look today and the camera moving around, but I hope this was value though, regardless. Thank you guys very much once again for tapping in. I'll see you guys on the next one.